All right, so here we have a 2020 MacBook Air 13-inch that came in for no power. Customer said that they spilled liquid on the MacBook, and what they did was change the whole palm rest, which includes the battery, the mouse, the keyboard, and other cables on the board. So pretty much everything is changed on the laptop, but still no power. Laptop is still not powering on. We can confirm this by pressing on the power button, assuming the battery is charged or the battery is even functional. We do not know the condition of the battery, but it looks good. And 2020 batteries are not gonna go bad anytime soon. So nothing is turning on. Now what we're gonna do is plug the charging cable, and I just wanna monitor the amp meter to see if there's any amps being drawn by the laptop. .06, 0.05. That's not good. No amps is being drawn by the laptop. We are currently at 20 volts. Oh, it just went up to 0.55. 0.21, 0.39. And look at that, look at that. We have an Apple logo here. So the laptop does power on. We have an Apple logo. And look at this, it's fully loaded. Laptop fully loaded. Okay, the amp meter just laptop just went off. Laptop just went off. I'm seeing 0 point here. Let me put the amp meter under the microscope so you can see what's going on. Look at this, it turned back on again. Right now, current being drawn by the laptop is 0.5 at 20 volts. And this time it's stuck on the Apple logo. CPU is very hot. I mean, I can feel a lot of heat on the heatsink on the CPU area of the board. And if I touch here, that cold. So I do not know how the fan blowing on this that cold area is gonna make the CPU any cooler. I do not understand the way it works. This is very, very hot, and this is very cool. Very hot. And look at this, laptop is still stuck on the Apple logo. And the fan is spinning very, very high. Fan is spinning very high. So there's something going on with the board. I mean, right now the fan is blowing on something totally cold. Heatsink is here. It's very hot to the touch. I cannot keep my fingers on it for more than a second. Very hot. How is this fan going to cool this heatsink? I mean, on older models for MacBooks, you have the heatsink that goes over the CPU, and the heatsink itself goes all the way to the right. And then the fan blows on the metal of the heatsink, and eventually the whole heatsink will get cool and the CPU will get cool. But in here, the heatsink is detached from whatever is going under the fan here. So fan blowing on this piece is not gonna cool the CPU. I mean, look at this, CPU is very hot. CPU is extremely hot. I do not know how cooling works on this model. No relationship between the fan and the heatsink. I mean, the way fans and heatsinks work on laptops or desktops or whatever the case may be is you have a heatsink with an attached piece of metal that goes all the way under the fan. The fan would blow on that piece of metal and eventually cool the heatsink, and that will cool the CPU. On desktops, you have the fan attached to the heatsink, and the heatsink is attached directly to the CPU, and the fan would blow on the heatsink to cool it down. I'm curious to look at this under a thermal cam and just see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so look at this. This is the heatsink here. Let's take a look at the fan. Look at the fan. I mean, look at this. The fan is that cold. The piece under the fan is that cold because this piece is not attached onto the heatsink. If that piece was attached to the heatsink, then this piece would get hot. The fan will blow on that piece, and eventually the heatsink will get cool. But right now, there's no relationship between the fan blowing down this way and the heatsink here. There's no relationship. I do not understand how this fan is going to cool this heatsink. If somebody can explain to me how cooling works on this laptop, I would greatly appreciate it, because right now I'm not seeing it. This will remain hot. The heatsink will remain hot throughout and nothing to cool it. I do not know the lifespan on these laptops, but if this CPU stays hot like this, it's gonna shorten the life of the laptop. The current temperature here is 192 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot of heat. That's a lot of heat. If that was the way this laptop was designed, it's not meant to last very long. Is that the way Apple intended to design this laptop, where it's not gonna last you long enough? I don't know. I don't know. The first thing I want to do is quick physical inspection, just to see if we see any signs of corrosion, any signs of liquid on the board. Laptop is still on, and fan is spinning very high. I mean, honestly, I do not see any signs of liquid here. We did not take the board out yet, but just based on first impression, board looks clean. Board looks clean. Okay, it just went off. I accidentally touched the power button on the power bank, and as soon as power went off, laptop went off. So the laptop is not seeing the battery. Look at this. Laptop is not seeing the battery. Let me check the connections here. I mean, the battery is connected properly. I mean, the battery is all the way in. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? What the battery is not connected. The battery is not connected. Look at that. The battery just went in. That could be the problem. That could be what is causing the high fan spin, or what is keeping the laptop from powering on. Battery was not all the way in, but for some reason it was stuck at that position. I could not get it in. Right now I just pulled it out a bit and pushed it back in, and now the battery is all the way in. Let's see if the laptop would power on without the power cable. Fan spin. I do see the fan spinning, and it's on. I'm almost 99% sure that this is going to fix the problem, and right there, it just booted up. There's no fan sound at all. Laptop is fixed. Laptop is fixed. So it was that easy. Battery was what was causing the problem. Even though I did check the battery and it seemed like the battery was making a good connection, I was not able to push the battery in any further. It's a good thing I pulled the battery back out and then back in to reseat the battery in place. The next step would have been to disassemble the board, check back of the board, and take it from there. So that's it. Problem is fixed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.